We'd like to call this commission work session to order. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Dominic, Johnson, Williams, Lynn, Bowman, Baker, Lynch, Escaday, Thibodeau, Cox, Smith, Epperson.
Here.
We have a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. We will have prayer by Commissioner Epperson and the pledge by Commissioner Thibodeau.
So I'll stand and bow. Heavenly Father, once again, we thank you for allowing us to be in the land of the living. We thank you for the great Redeemer, your Son, Jesus Christ. We thank you for the creation of heaven and earth and all therein. Father, we ask that your prayers and your mercy go out for all of our servicemen throughout the world. We ask that you bring some wisdom to Washington, D.C., whereas our elected officials will come to a consensus on making sure we do what's in the best interest of all the people of this great nation. These and other blessings we ask in your Son's Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Join in the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Are there any agenda additions? There being none, we move to citizen comments.
Citizens' comments. Citizens who wish to address the commission must fill out a comment card and forward to the president or the clerk of the commission. Comments by any citizens will be limited to 3 minutes. We have several cards here. First, we have Mr. Frank Stawask. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. He is the mayor of Greenwood. Stabbage. Frank Stabbage. Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Frank Stavish, 8347 Kelly Lane in Greenwood. I have passed out a handout regarding, well, I received from the Department of Health and Hospitals on the amoeba situation that had developed in DeSoto Parish. I attended that meeting last Thursday, met with the folks from DHH to, in essence, inform myself and the town of Greenwood as to what kind of issues we could possibly have to be able to respond to our citizens in a responsible manner. And I think that, in all honesty, this handout will probably answer most of your questions a whole lot better than I can. I am not a water expert, although sometimes I think I'm getting there. Managing water and sewer seems to be an ongoing, forever job. The main thing that we're looking at doing in the town of Greenwood is increasing the chlorine levels, and that is pretty much universal throughout all of the areas. The health department has elected to increase the minimum dosage, and I think it's 0.50 parts per million. So we have our water currently coming up to that level or higher in some places, and the main thing is that we have it throughout the entire line of water, from the plant itself to the furthest extremities of the system. That's the critical element. The systems that exist, many of them, the filtration system will prohibit the amoeba, particularly the nanofilters. And so this helps. They have no idea how the amoeba got into the water lines except perhaps through a break. A break in the water line would allow the amoeba to get in because as you look at their habitat, which is predominantly lakes, ponds, streams, they also have been known to live in moistened soil adjacent to those facilities. So it would be very easy in a break for it to happen. We think that in Greenwood at the present time we have everything under control. We are testing our system. Certain places are being tested daily, and the rest of the water system is being tested each week. So with that in mind, we think that our citizens should feel pretty comfortable right now. There's certain things that you should and shouldn't do. some of these folks who have been afflicted have been as a result of the neti pots, where they have been using that to clean their sinuses. And unless you're using distilled water or boiled water, that is strongly recommended not to do. The other issue is swimming pools. If you've got a swimming pool that is being actively used, be sure that your chlorine level is adequate so that as a child or anybody jumps in, the water is not forced up into the nostrils. That seems to be the area where, well, that is the only avenue by which this amoeba can adhere itself within the brain. So that's what I have for you. If anybody has a question, I would attempt to answer.
Yes, Commissioner Dominique.
Where do you get your water out of Caddo Lake?
Caddo Lake.
Okay.
Mhm.
Has it been reported in Caddo Lake, or do you know?
I'm not aware of it. The general consensus is that it exists
Sure.
in Caddo Lake. It's there. The fact that it happened to affect somebody, well, this was out of Toledo.
Yeah,
Bend.
right.
So, I mean, it's not Caddo, but I think we just assume that it's there.
Sure.
So, main thing is precaution in view of it.
Well, appreciate you coming in here today, Mayor.
Thank you.
Also, hold on just a minute. You answered the question for me, but I also want to thank you for coming
Thank you.
and giving us this information.
Yes, ma'am.
And did they mention any other lakes that may be affected?
There's not any that I'm aware of. I mean, the general consensus is lakes, ponds, rivers, streams. Any of those will harbor or have the potential to harbor the amoeba. So we just assume that it's everywhere, even though it's just a relatively new development.
Okay. Commissioner Epperson, thank you.
Mayor, we thank you for coming. Of course, the town of Greenwood is in my district, and
Your water's
a lot
safe
of
to drink.
my water as well as as others on, and I got some calls. So as we normally do, we always work together. Wanted to make sure that you came down and you presented factual information, so innuendo and rumors and all that stuff wouldn't spread. So we appreciate
Well,
you
and
coming down.
incidentally, the water is safe to drink regardless,
Right.
because stomach acids will take care of the amoeba.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bowman has a question.
Yes, sir. You may not know this, but I just want to know, do you know what other lakes are being tested? To see if
To my knowledge, they are not doing any testing per se
Okay.
of the reservoirs. And they're not, the only place where they have actually tested, and this has been done by CDC, that they're testing where there have been actual deaths.
Gotcha.
And that's how they discovered the situation of DeSoto. But they did test a number of different locations, and I can't tell you right offhand those numbers. But as I understand it, the process is relatively lengthy and expensive. So if they attempted to go to every water system and do this, it would be really prohibitive, and to be done in a timely and financially responsible manner. But we know that chlorine will control it.
Okay, good deal. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
1 minute, Commissioner Williams.
I know that, thank you, Madam Chairman. Many questions have been asked, but I think the price of life is priceless regarding to all our water systems being tested. I think we should be proactive and not wait till the infection get to other facilities throughout our parish. So,
Well, I don't disagree with that. I mean, and the town of Greenwood is going to be doing what's necessary to test, but they will not, unless CDC elects to come in, we have no capabilities to test for this.
no, I was saying maybe you need some outside help, maybe from the state or the federal government.
I think it's going to be the federal government, because even the state indicated that they did not have that capability. It was CDC who did test in each case, both in South Louisiana as well as in DeSoto. It was all done by CDC.
But what I'm concerned is not only just your water, but North Shreveport, our Caddo Lake, and also Cross Lake, and where we get our waters as well. Hope that
Sure.
the city and our parishes are aware of what's going on, that we take proactive measures to secure that our water system is safe. And I hope that you take light of what's been said today, administration as well. So again, thank you for coming. We all in this thing together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, we have Susan.
Miss me?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Epperson.
Just want to throw the ball where it needs to be. You know, the CDC is controlled by Washington, D.C., and we know what's going on up there now.
Open the government up.
All right. That's all I want to say.
Next, we have Sue Sanderford.
Good afternoon. I'd like everybody who's here to change Caddo Animal Services. Would you please stand up? Thank you.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Sue Sandifer.
Pull it down.
Huh?
You can pull that down.
Pull it down? Okay. I'm a little short. My name is Sue Sandifer. I live at 1422 Gray Lake Drive in Princeton, Louisiana. I'm here representing Nina Lopez, who is the founder of Nina's Road to Rescue. And I'm just really going to read a letter that she is sent because she was not able to attend. So please bear with me. I regret that I could not attend this meeting. However, I feel it's important that the leaders of the Shreveport community know exactly what is going on across the river in Bossier City, Bossier Parish, in terms of animal welfare. A year ago, I visited the Bossier City Animal Control Shelter. My intention was not to interfere with their operations, but to help them. Through my rescue and rescue connections, I have a huge audience, and I know we could help them in many ways. While they were leery of my motives and presence at first, they quickly determined that I was not there to question their policies or question animals being euthanized, etc. I'm a realist, and I do know the extent of the problems in this area. My intentions were and are sincere, and it is solely to help erase their stressful jobs so they can concentrate on helping the animals in their care. My goals were to change the public's perception of the shelter and the employees, increase adoptions, decrease euthanasia rates, increase morale, and ease the burdens on shelter employees. I knew I had a huge task on my hands, but quite frankly, the impact was instantaneous. My first goal was to form a team to help with the task. I enlisted several local, independent, and active rescue people. Secondly, I created a Facebook page, which I did that evening, naming it Friends of Bossier City Animal Control. The short version of what we did is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we go into Bossier City Animal Control and take pictures. When BCAC determines an animal is adoptable, we take pictures and post those animals to the adoptable album on Facebook. If BCAC determines the animal is not adoptable to the public, we take pictures and post those animals to the rescue only album looking for a rescue to pull the animal. Many go to local rescue groups while others go to rescues outside of this area. All rescue groups are checked out by us and transport is arranged by us. We communicate with BCAC when someone is coming to pick the animal up for transport. When an animal is adopted, BCAC notifies us by either posting on the animal's picture on Facebook or texting us. We immediately move the animal to the Happy Tales album, whereby constantly keeping the albums current on the page, which is very important. If an animal comes into BCAC that is injured or sick, they contact us for help. Through donations from the community, we are able to immediately send the animal to a veterinary clinic for care. Some come back to the shelter when they are ready. Some end up going to a rescue based solely on the animal being posted on Facebook as being injured or sick. No longer do animals inhumanely sit and suffer in the shelter awaiting stray hold expiration. No longer do shelter employees have to watch and witness an animal suffering knowing there is nothing they can do. Sometimes the urgent care animal needs a foster home to recover. We've implemented a wonderful foster home program whereby injured animals, pregnant animals, mothers and babies, etc., temporarily go into foster homes. We do not do long-term fosters, only temporary. Many times, the foster animals are adopted by the foster family. Sometimes they are adopted from the foster home, and sometimes they go back to the shelter when they are ready. Foster homes are checked out by us. BCAC is not burdened with handling it at all. In other words, we handle just about everything. BCAC picks up the phone with a need and we jump on it, and almost always have a solution within hours. It's been a year since we came together as a team. When I walk into BCAC, I am welcomed with open arms and smiling faces. They are happy to see us and so very thankful for the help. The key to our success is that BCAC welcomes our help, and our communication is constant. Without those two key components, we would fail. Since our involvement, the euthanasia rate has decreased significantly, and adoptions and morale amongst the staff is way up. It's a win-win for the community, the staff, and more importantly, the animals of Bossier Parish. As for Caddo Animal Control, when Ashley Delry contacted me about implementing the same type of partnership at Caddo Animal Control, I agreed to go with her during her first meeting with Everett.
Excuse me, you only have 3 minutes.
I'm going to try,
Let's extend the time.
I have just 2 more paragraphs.
Okay.
Please. My attendance was to discuss the impact we've made at BCAC. As soon as we arrived, I could feel the overwhelming tension. We came with open minds and were met with closed and locked minds. It was the most rude, condescending, combative meeting I have ever attended in my entire life. After 2 hours, I left exhausted and completely shocked at the reception given to us, and we were there to help them. During the entire course of the meeting, Ashley handled herself in the most professional manner. As I sat there feeling my blood pressure skyrocket, she supplied statistics that she spent weeks gathering to present to Everett to help him understand that what she was trying to do would help the shelter. All the while, Everett was unprofessional, inconsiderate, unaccommodating, and downright rude. In the parking lot after the meeting, I told Ashley I would support her and encourage her to fight to make change, but I would never again step foot in that shelter ever while Everett sits on his throne like a dictator, and while those animals suffer day after day and hundreds die each month because he is in charge. Yes, the shelter looks great, but Animal Control Services starts with animal, not Everett. His plush office was shocking to me. While visit BCAC and you'll see a few metal desks, a hard-working and caring staff. Aesthetics should not be a priority, especially in terms of the staff accommodations, and the difference in attitudes is night and day. Everett refers to the shelter as his shelter and the animals as his animals. I beg to differ, but neither are his. He is an employee of the taxpayers of Caddo Parish. When I visit CAC, I feel as if I'm entering a prison in a communist country. Why is everything so secretive? Why is everyone so on guard, bitter, and defensive? I'll tell you why. Because of the director. It all flows downhill. Bottom line, change the leadership and you'll change Caddo Animal Control and the animals unfortunate enough to enter those doors. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me go over your time. This letter is from Nina Lopez.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we have Ms. Stacy Taylor.
Hello, my name is Stacy Taylor, and yes, I am an animal lover.
Please state your name.
I'm sorry, I've never done this here.
Okay.
I'm not from here.
Okay.
I'm Stacy Taylor. I live at 301 Jacobs Point in Benton, Louisiana. Yes, I know. I'm not even from Shreveport.
Long way from home.
I know, but I'm here. My time's going because of the negative impact I see in our economy, and it's really bothered me. I moved here over 4 years ago. I want to give you a little bit of background about myself. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I have a degree in computer science. I have worked for local and federal law enforcement. I worked for our local police academy for 5 years. I worked for the FBI for 10. I'm very familiar how laws work, and I understand that you need to have laws. However, what brings me here is whether you love animals or whether you do not. It is not a matter at this point. The facts are clear that our society views animals as part of our family now, and this is an enormous financial aspect of communities. Personally, my parents don't really care for animals, but they can even see the economic advantage to being pet friendly. If you look online, you will see so many examples of what I'm talking about, study after study. Here are a few examples of where communities are taking advantage financially. You've got pet insurance now. You have pet-friendly hotels. You take vacations. Everywhere people are banking on it. They're bringing in tons of money. You have pet clothing lines. BMW in Shreveport, in your own town, realizes that it's very important to be pet-friendly. They've just stepped up and are going to do 3 adoption events every year with us. That's huge. That sends a loud message in this community. In 2007, Forbes and NBC did America's most pet-friendly cities. Those cities took advantage of that, and they banked on that. Their economy growth went way up. That was 2007. Do you know what it is now? Shreveport has nothing. Nothing. We don't invest in this at all. As a real estate agent, I've been extremely concerned because I literally have people telling me they will not live in your city because of your animal shelter. They will not live in your city because of the reputation. You guys may have great laws. That's awesome. Wonderful. You might have a clean place. That's great. But when it comes down to it, your reputation is where people want to live. They want to live in a community that they feel like is safe, is pet friendly. I even have commercial people that have looked at commercial properties tell me, hell no, my taxpayer dollars are not going to the local animal shelter. And to me that says a lot. So I started looking into it. I volunteer now. I am with the Pet Education Project organization. I'm on their board. This is a big problem in our community, and it's something that I just don't think that's been addressed. Hang on, let me go to my next one. Anyway, I keep having people, I also deal a lot with military families that are moving in town because of my background. I deal with federal law enforcement that did come in town. They ask me, is Shreveport a pet-friendly town? And I have to be honest with you and tell them no. The citizens, absolutely. The laws, no. Your laws are outdated. You need to change them. Your staff is so rude and not personal. I constantly, when I'm in Shreveport working, I get told that if your animal gets out, you have very little time, if any time at all, to get up there and get it, or it's going to be put to sleep. There is no 5-day holding pattern like they claim. I know for example after example, I've talked to people that do not wish to purchase a home in Shreveport because of that policy right there. And to me, that's huge. Most often in the financial world, our reputation is all we have. That's the truth. If your reputation goes down, my real estate business goes down. Okay, I'll just give you a perfect example. We talk about how pet-friendly things are. The President of the United States, every time a president gets elected, what do they do within the first couple months? They go get an animal, and it's a huge press release. They may not even like animals, but they're considered pet-friendly. That is a huge, huge thing in our country, and Shreveport is lacking so much in this area. You guys, along with the shelter, you have an incredible, incredible opportunity, for financial growth and developing Shreveport's community by changing the mindset. This is proven to work. If you just get online and look, there's study after study documenting it. I would love one day to see Shreveport's name on that list. Thank you for listening.
Next, we have Erica Callius.
Hi, good afternoon. Erica Calais, 6121 Fern Avenue, Unit 64, Shreveport. Commissioners, I'm the founder and president of PEP, the Pet Education Project. To brief you, we're an education and outreach program that teaches kids on responsible pet ownership, and also we teach the same to our citizens in our community. I hope that you have taken the time to read the letter I wrote you regarding my concerns with Caddo Parish Animal Shelter. All of my efforts and concerns are to ultimately lower the number of animals that are passed through and euthanized in our shelter each year. Caddo Parish Animal Shelter has proven that their agendas are not for the best interests of the animals, and they refuse to cooperate with the community. We, as citizens, are demanding action to be taken, change to be made, and questions to be answered. We expect the immediate improvements from Caddo Parish Animal Shelter and internal action to be taken for the following: increased off-site pet adoptions and the number of animals transported to them, flexible hours including opening the shelter on weekends, on-staff efforts to create and implement a comprehensive foster program, increased collaboration with our local rescue community to help pull, foster, and rehome animals, including companions of Caddo Parish Animal Shelter and other animal welfare organizations. Cooperation, hospitable attitudes from the staff at Caddo Parish Animal Shelter towards rescues, volunteers, and even citizens that walk into the door. Further efforts and spay and neuter initiatives that target zip code data for high intake areas. I would also like to address the following questions. Why hasn't our euthanasia rate decreased? Why have our former director's efforts to become a no-kill community by 2013, has that been ignored? Why has our current director not continued these efforts? What are the qualifications for our shelter director? What other rescues or shelters has he worked at? Where is his resume? I would like to further touch base on the contrast between education programs and initiatives led by PEP and Caddo Parish Animal Shelter. From 2012 to 2013, PEP has had an income of $10,000 a year. With that modest amount of money, 0 employees, we're a volunteer-run organization. We have spoken to 50,000 kids in our area for free. That includes SPAR, recreation centers, all Caddo Parish public libraries. We spoke to them every single day this summer. Renzi Center, all schools, public and private, and other nonprofits and churches in our community. Why, I want to know, with a full-time employee that Caddo Parish Animal Shelter has and a salary of $36,000, why has their education efforts only reached 1,300 kids? So, and through all of which, those were led by PEP. All of the coordination for those events were led by us. Okay, Caddo Parish Animal Shelter is kicking back on our efforts for humane education in our community. They claim to have a great education program, but we have invited them to everything. They have never initiated any contact or outreach. Has the shelter director ever called me? No. The only reason why we have collaborated is because of a meeting that was arranged from one nonprofit to our nonprofit. Commissioners, we are petitioning for change. We demand that with or without Mr. Harris, we do want change, and we want someone who is worthy of a $92,000 a year salary. We're holding you, the commission, accountable for the lack of action and improvements in Caddo Parish Animal Shelter. We have voiced our concerns, and you have disregarded our pleas for change. I assure you that the animal welfare community is represented strongly in all of your districts, and I hope that we can work together to bring change and action into Caddo Parish Animal Shelter. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ashley. Can't say it last. D-E-L. Delry. R-I-E.
Delry.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Ashley Delry. Before I get started, I want to make sure that everybody received the folder that I brought today.
Please say your name and address.
Oh, Ashley Delry, last name D as in dog, E-L-R-I-E, 546 Unadilla Street, Shreveport 71106. So I'm just making sure that y'all have this, okay? And I'll get started. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the Commission, Dr. Wilson, Mr. Lucky, Ms. Frazier, Ms. Bryant. It's nice to see y'all again. I appreciate the opportunity to be here to speak with y'all. My name again is Ashley Delry. I'm the founder and director of Companions of Caddo Parish Animal Shelter. Companions of Caddo Parish Animal Shelter is a nonprofit animal welfare organization dedicated to improving animal welfare in Caddo Parish. I started this organization last March. Our mission is to improve the community by reducing the euthanasia rate of homeless, neglected, abused, and abandoned animals in Caddo Parish. We have been working to accomplish our mission by partnering with the shelter, parish administrators, Commissioner Lynn, animal welfare organizations, animal rescue groups, and community members to advocate for improved animal welfare in our parish. Companions strongly advocates for adoption and rescue from the Caddo Parish Animal Shelter. We act as a liaison between the shelter and rescue groups to coordinate the placement of rescue animals. Since last March, we have helped place 50 dogs in need of rescue with local and national rescue organizations and developed over 20 new rescue partnerships for the shelter. We developed the Companions of Caddo Parish Animal Shelter program to provide visibility and awareness to the adoptable and rescue animals, which has helped with adoptions, rescue placement, and overall visibility of the shelter and its staff. Although we have worked tirelessly to help the shelter, me personally, 30 to 40 hours a week, I volunteer my time for the shelter on behalf of the animals. The need for more improvement is still enormous. We desperately, desperately need change and improvements. Although we are on decent footing now, it has not been without significant resistance in the past. I felt that I had to fight my way to get anything accomplished. The level of resistance, uncooperativeness was unconscionable when I first started on this mission. We will never move forward to accomplish the change we so desperately need unless we can all work together in a synergistic, open-minded, cooperative, respectful way to help achieve our goal of reducing the euthanasia rate and improving animal welfare in our parish. This is the people's shelter. These are the people's animals, and we should be listening to the voice of the people of this parish on how they want their shelter run. We have a moral obligation to these animals to do the right thing and employ every resource we have to help them. People want to be proud of their shelter. They want to be proud of their city. They want to see change so we can all be proud of our new standard of excellence I know our shelter can provide and set. We can't kill, rescue, or adopt our way out of the over-pet population in our parish. I repeat, we cannot kill, rescue, or adopt our way out of the pet overpopulation crisis in our parish. We have been killing at an average of 800 animals a month, with a total of 8,933 animals killed in 2012. We are tracking year-to-date in 2013 at 6,171 animals killed, and we are on a trajectory to kill close to the same number again this year that we did in 2012. The numbers don't lie. The problem is not improving. So we need to change what we are doing to address the crisis that we have in our community. We need a laser focus on education, on responsible pet ownership, and targeting spay and neuter programs in our at-risk areas, more off-site pet adoptions, and increased number of animals taken to those adoption events. To develop a comprehensive foster care program with the goal of 100 foster homes available at any given time for the sick and injured. Shelter hours open on the weekends, comprehensive volunteer programs, especially to help with off-site pet adoptions. Increased internal rescue outreach with written rescue protocols. The rescue community should be involved in developing these protocols. I can't do it all by myself. I've tried, and it is a task. We should have a dual eligibility program for animals that have been in adoptions for more than 6 days. Should be eligible to go out to rescue groups. That would reduce the risk of disease and illness that we have that occurs due to prolonged stays in the shelter. It's a risk factor for mortality. Implementation of a proper intake form for owner-surrendered animals to rehome the animals more quickly. Collaboration with the business community. Fans for the outdoor kennels so the dogs don't die of heat strokes in the summer months. We lost 3 dogs this summer to heat strokes because of prolonged times in the kennel and excessive heat.
Point of order, Madam President. How much longer do you know?
I'm almost finished. Programs to encourage, is that okay, ma'am?
Yeah.
I'm almost finished. Programs to encourage citizens to report cruelty without fear of retribution. 2 areas in particular I would like for you to refer to your folder. I've had many meetings with Dr. Wilson, Commissioner Lynn, Donna Frazier, Ms. Bryant, Ms. Lucky. In terms of the ordinances, our ordinances haven't been updated in 8.5 years. We have language in the ordinances from 1987. There's language in there in regards to license that we don't even have. We need a community task force to visit with y'all and update our ordinances. And we need to re-examine our spay and neuter voucher program that was not being enforced by the department until I brought it to the attention of Dr. Wilson back in April. All of those correspondence are in the folder. In closing, I wrote the National ASPCA about my concerns in regards to animal welfare in our parish. I requested that they visit Shreveport, talk with our community, visit our shelter, talk with our staff, with the staff, administrators, and commissioners about how to improve our situation. With the support of Commissioner Lynn and Dr. Wilson, they're coming. This is an amazing opportunity. I hope that you will embrace them and attend their meeting. Please see the invitation in your folder. I know we can do better. I know that we can work together to accomplish the change that we need. Let's roll our sleeves up and get to work today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lynch, did you have a question? Your name was up on it. For her?
Not necessarily for her, but just on this topic.
On the what?
On this topic.
When did you want to ask your question?
Are we through all the cards in?
No.
Okay, well, I can wait until all the cards are in.
Give me a drink, a Coke.
I mean, if everybody don't talk 2 minutes.
If what?
You don't talk 10 minutes apiece.
Well, we need to give them time to
I
talk.
understand.
The next person is Karen Duran?
Kent.
Karen Kent.
This is Duran,
Duran.
G-U-E-R-I-N.
Karen, Go
Okay,
ahead, Miss Kent.
Yeah, because we don't have a kid.
Yeah, I do have a Kent.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
My name is Karen Guerin. I live at 154 Albany in Shreveport, zip is 71105. I just want to be really quick about sharing my experience with the Caddo Animal Shelter and my experience with doing research of national spay, neuter, and shelter programs around the country, which I did for Robinson's Rescue when they were in their research and development mode. I was contracted by them. And I spoke with and interviewed a lot of different animal rescue and shelter organizations around the country. And at that time, I was also, I had been volunteering for the Caddo Parish Animal Shelter. We had a shelter manager there who had a very volunteer-friendly operation going. The staff was always really busy. We didn't have animals that were having to be put down in massive numbers because of illnesses. We had students from Centenary College coming to do their community service there. We were socializing the animals. Every animal that was adoptable went into the adoption area and stayed there until it was adopted, because the shelter director was, the shelter manager was very conscious about making sure that the volunteers had a good experience, and she wanted the animals to be socialized so that they would have an increased chance of being adoptable. Everything was clean, the animals were clean, and she was fired. She was fired by our parish and sent on her way, and she went back down to Lafayette. After that, it's just continued to somewhat deteriorate. And I had interactions with the shelter with other directors and other managers, and gradually stopped volunteering there myself. And then I went in there about 1.5 years ago to adopt a cat. And I was shocked. I was shocked and horrified at the difference. And I could not believe, between that and the euthanasia numbers, the deterioration in a period of about 8 years. And I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed in our public services. And as a taxpayer, I was outraged. And I started talking to people, and I talked to people a lot up at Petco, the managers there, because the Petco Foundation has stepped up and provided an adoption program there for cats from the shelter. And all of the cats come in sick. My cat that I adopted there was sick. The people, when I was there, were standing around. They were not working. Some of them were watching television or watching their computer monitors. And as a taxpayer, I consider myself to be paying their salary, and by the way, they make more than I do as a college professor. I'm pretty disappointed. And I just want to voice that and say that I know how this can work, because I have looked at what's going on around the country, and not just in big cities. In smaller, even podunk places, there are very functional volunteer and animal and public-friendly adoption sections for the animal services. And sometimes what has happened is that the county, in other states, of course, it's a county, will release the adoption, control of the adoption, to a coalition of an SPCA-type animal group organization, and let the law enforcement part of the problem be handled by the governmental body. And this is a solution that I'm afraid may have to happen here at some point. I think a public survey is in order, because I don't know anyone who feels very differently about the situation than myself. Thank you.
Ms. Karen Kent.
Karen Kent. I live at 6018 Yarborough Road, Shreveport, 71119. I'm just going to tell you about my experience with Caddo Parish Animal Shelter. This is Blue. After one weekend with them. I had to have him cremated because he weighed 120 pounds, just to get him out of there. He was picked up Friday, August 23rd. I had a tree fall in my yard and knocked down the fence. So they picked him up Friday. I called Friday night. I could not get him. They said I could pick him up Saturday, possibly. I called Saturday. They say I cannot pick him up until Monday. I say, can you please just check to see if he's there and if he's okay? They say, yes, he's here, and yes, he's okay. Sunday, I had the dog catcher, the guy that caught him, come to my house and apologize for picking him up. Said that he could tell he was healthy and that well taken care of, and that he's sorry he had to pick him up. He did not have his tags on. My daughter gave him a bath the night before he was picked up, and she did not put the tags back on him. She's so upset about that. Monday, after I get off work, I worked at LSU Medical Center. I got off at 3:30. I went straight over. We looked an hour and a half for my dog. Never could find him. I say he's a 120-pound yellow dog. How'd you lose him? So they can't find him anywhere. So we get on the CB and we call the other dog catchers and we're like, do you know what happened to the big yellow dog? They say, well, I saw him this morning at 10 o'clock. And I heard them say that. A few minutes later, Everett come out, Mr. Everett, I don't know his last name, and he says, ma'am, I'm sorry to tell you, we had a dog die this weekend. I said, well, it was not my dog. My dog was seen this morning at 10 a.m. Well, we also had a dog die this morning. And I said, well, I want to see him. When he was picked up, I was thinking, thank God they picked him up. So he didn't get ran over running the roads. So I'm thinking he's safe at this animal shelter, although he was dead. I went and saw him, it was blue. He also added that when they found him, he was hard and covered in ants. I don't know why one would tell someone that. But it was my dog, and this is blue. This is all we have left.
Ms. Kent? Commissioner Bowman?
First of all, I know this is not against anyone at the shelter or anything. This is, I understand what's going on, and I met with you. You also told me I'm a dog lover. My mother adopted the two dogs that I take care of now from the shelter, Life and Governor Bobby Jindal. To me, that I understand how you feel. I'm sorry. I can only say I'm sorry, and I'm sorry that the only thing I can say for that situation is that I'm sorry, because I understand that dogs aren't just dogs. They're a part of the family, and they're family members. And so you've had your dog for how long?
12 years.
12 years. And you were going to pick up your dog, and were you told?
I tried to pick him up every day from Friday to Monday.
What was said?
They told me that there was no one there to take my money.
That was what prohibited you from picking up?
Yes,
Blue.
no one there to to take my money.
And how much was it?
It was less than $100.
And
That's because they were going to charge me per day, counting Saturday, Sunday.
But each day
Monday.
you were trying to pick it up?
Yes.
But no one
I
was
called
there.
every day.
Okay. My heart goes out.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll get together and look at
If I could have just picked him up over the weekend, this wouldn't have happened.
Next, we have Amanda Martin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Martin. I live at 396 Ockley. I wasn't prepared to come to this meeting. I just heard about it, but I just wanted to share a few stories. I'm an animal lover, and I probably save a dog a week. I have 3 rescues of my own, 2 of which almost went to the Caddo Parish Animal Shelter, but I got them before. Actually, one of them was there, and the rescue group here got her, and they were going to put her to sleep because she had worms. That was their only reason. And she's a big, healthy, sweet dog now, great dog. And I hope I don't get upset. The other thing is my mom saves cats. She helps animals. And she gets some, she's kind of on a fixed budget, and she has a few of them fixed at Robinson Rescue. And when she caught one, really sweet cat, named it OJ because he's real orange like orange juice, took him in, got him neutered, and brought him back home. And the Caddo Parish Animal Shelter picked him up like 3 days later. We called, they said they had him. We were going to go get him. She went down there. She went through all the cats. She didn't see him. She was very upset. We talked to the person that actually caught it. They did catch it was this exact cat. And we went back, and they put the cat to sleep, I mean, within a matter of 4 days. And we just had picked it up from Robinson's Rescue. She was just trying to help. And it's just, and I just hear stuff over and over and over about our Caddo Parish Animal Control, and I just really want something done. I mean, like everybody else, if I could do it all, I would, but I can't. It needs to be all of us. So I appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Thank you. We have no more cards. Commissioner Lynch, do you have a question or a comment?
I wanted to ask of the people that stood up earlier, how many are actual residents of Caddo Parish? Thank you. What about in my district? District 7.
I understand.
Okay. Let me say, I've probably gotten, I know, over 100 emails between Thursday and Friday that were probably some of the most vile, hateful, classist, sexist, racist overtone emails that I've gotten in the 10 years that I've been on the commission. I'm not really sure if some of it was all about the issue at hand or a combination of issues, but certainly, and I asked one of the persons that wrote to me to say that I will definitely consider all comments from citizens of Caddo Parish. All of these other people from Massachusetts and all over the other parts of the country have elected representatives to address their concerns where they live. We spend a great amount of time looking at best practices. This commission is very active with education and training and looking at, you know, what other counties and parishes are doing. Now, you know, on this particular thing with the animal shelter, pretty much David Cox has been kind of our person that took this on when we came on the board in 2004, and we had a big overhaul with a lot of the ordinances and whatnot dealing with animal control. And certainly I'm not sure, that was a big overhaul, but it was a project that he took on and you know, worked through on the commission. But I'm not sure, I don't think we've had another evaluation or reevaluation of what we have, what we don't have in the books since probably about 2005, if I recall correctly. We work closely with Bossier Parish on a lot of things, but we cannot compare apples and oranges. I don't really, I'm saying me, District 7 representative, to try and compare Caddo Parish with Bossier Parish is totally irrelevant in my opinion. I don't really want to see anything else, anybody talking about Matt Pepper. I'm saying to me, Everett has been the director at this shelter for the last 5 years. I know Matt Pepper he's a handsome guy. I know he had a little group of people, you know, that was enamored with him. And some things may have been said and promised on his way out the door. And some of it from the emails that I read, the stuff that the commission didn't even know about. that people were saying that he said this or he said that. And so we just need to hit the reset button on this, in my opinion. It seems like the things are being made personal as opposed to, you know, some of the things being done in a more professional manner. I'm certainly not going to be bullied by anybody in Caddo Parish or outside of Caddo Parish when it comes to this issue. One of the reasons I got up, I think the lady just came up here with that dog in the box, kind of got to me because I had to put my dog down earlier this year, so that kind of got to me a little bit. But certainly, you know, I've stood with the dog park people, Cynthia Keith, protested, you know, did all of that with them, and it's something I definitely support. And you know, being dog myself, to support the humane treatment of animals. I just think we need to, and I don't know, Ms. Wilson, Madam President, need to hit the reset button. Some of the ideas that I've read and seen, you know, maybe some things that we need to look at. Talking about this man's salary, talking about this man's color, talking about this man's education, his qualification that has no place in this discussion, in my opinion. No place in this discussion. Everybody at the parish is well paid. Okay, from the top down. So, all of those positions are approved, all of those salaries are approved by this body. So that's not an issue for us. Certainly, if there's some things that we need to do, there's always room for improvement. If we need to come back, I don't know if David is in a position at this point to kind of spearhead that. Like I said, everybody kind of has their, you know, mine was juvenile for a long time. You know, others economic development, other natural resources, what have you. We do need you know, somebody that's willing to take that project on and really work with the community and work with our administration on coming up with some best practices. Now, this idea of having a no-kill shelter, I don't know if we'll ever get to that. I know some people want that. I don't know if we'll ever get to that. I'm really not sure. I don't have a lot of information on it, but there are a lot of dogs in Caddo Parish. If y'all need some more to rescue, you can come to Moortown any day of the week. There are plenty of dogs running around in Hood. And so let's just hit the reset button and try to figure out a way to work together. And I think we can do that without this being a personal or personality driven fight. Thank you, Madam President.
Commissioner Lynn?
We do need to hit the reset button, and I want to commend Dr. Woodrow Wilson for what he has done most recently. If you'll notice in the packet that Dr. Wilson has been a part of inviting Ms. Laura Lanza to come and speak on behalf of the ASPCA. And not only is she going to come and speak to Southfield School and to the public and to every commissioner that would ever want to go in this, but he has also set up the classroom at the Animal Services to offer classroom time and best practices to all the parish employees in Animal Services, as our conversation was the other day. And so I salute him on resetting the button and doing that, and that we are moving in a positive direction. Of everything that I've heard today, and everything that I've been a part of in this last week, and going to visit some museums and working with some people and studying some things, it's about being civil to one another. It's about being friendly with one another. It's about being respectful of one another. Private industry and government are so different when they need to be a little bit closer to the same in the aspect that in private industry, if you're operating a business and you're not open the hours that your customers want to come and see you, you go out of business and you're replaced by a business that does operate in the hours that the customers want to come and visit you. This 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, for traditional private industry isn't going to cut it. You have to be open, you have to do a split shift sometimes, you have to close in the middle of the day and then be open a little bit later, be open before people go to work, be open when people get off work, be open sometimes on the weekend when they're not at work. And government can't continue to operate like government. Government has to change in this 21st century and operate like they're serving their customer, and their customer is the taxpayer. Their customer is the person that lives in Caddo Parish that pays the taxes. Their customer is not the person that lives in Bossier Parish. Their customer is not the person that lives in Texas or Colorado. And so I'm talking about the Caddo Parish citizens, the people that pay their home property tax in Caddo Parish. And I wish that we had more people that lived in Caddo Parish. And until we are more friendly, we're going to see people move. Our tax base is moving. If our tax base moves out of our community, there's going to be nothing here. And we have to be friendly to the tax base to keep the tax base in our community. We have to keep a tax base in Caddo Parish, or there'll be nothing for anybody. We have to be civil, and we have to be friendly, and we have to open up the door to groups that are willing to help us. I know in the past, in working with nonprofit groups, that it's a lot easier for me, myself, to do all the work than it is for me to work with 5 people that have never done the job before. However, if I don't teach 5 people how to do that volunteer work, if I don't work with those 5 people to do that volunteer work, those 5 people will never have the opportunity to teach 5 more people. And so I have to take that time, and I have to work with people that want to volunteer, and I have to reach out to the community, because if I don't reach out to the community and help other people, I'm being selfish and I'm keeping all the glory to myself. And the glory needs to be spread around, and the glory needs to go to God, and we need to work for this community in making the shelter a 21st century shelter that everybody here can be proud of. And the simple fact that we have almost $100 million in the bank, if you look at all the money we've got collectively, and you look at all the podunk towns that don't have any money, that are actually doing a better job than we're doing, we need to do the right thing, and we need to serve the community, and we need to allow the nonprofit organizations, and we need to allow some people put their hand on our ordinances that are so outdated, that haven't been brought up to date, that contradict each other, that contradict themselves, that have laws in there that we don't even practice anymore, that we at least need to change the ordinance to where we're in compliance with our own ordinances. We have a lot of work to do, and I'm ready to reset that button today and get that work done. Thank you. That's all.
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It's time for us to roll up our sleeves and go to work. On behalf of the citizens of Shreveport and Caddo, and as colleagues said, we need to be civil. We don't need to finger point and make it personal, because it's not. And I do think we need to reform our current system, because it is outdated. And as the Commissioner said, the person who's been responsible has been out sick. I see that our administration took matters in their own hand and came up with some solutions to some of the problems that we have right here. Our parish attorney came up with some of the solutions that we have. But if we can't all get on one accord, I suggest that we go from here by engaging and dialoguing together and appointing a special committee to address this issue together. Engaging with what you think we should have with our parish administrator and our director together. But to finger point and play the blame game and say it's your fault or his fault, I think it's unfair to the entire parish of Caddo. I know that our animals is part of the mainstream America in our families, but also we don't need to be hypocritical and have a double standard. There are children that need homes that have been cruelty. There are humans that are homeless, even VA veterans sleeping under the bridge. There needs to be a public outcry on poverty and a war on poverty and homelessness and discrimination in this country. But how we can rally up behind, and I love animals, don't get me wrong, if we can have that same enthusiasm behind people and humans and children that are suffering and homeless and helpless, and the government is shut down to help the people that need the help. But we get excited and we get enthusiastic behind particular issues that are our issues. But we should be engaged in all the issues that affect this great country we live in that called America. People don't have jobs. I don't see people engaged in conversation. It's unfair to just pick one particular item that fits what we want. But what about the whole scope and scheme of things? Now, I think we should engage in what has been said today is have a special committee, and I'll be glad to chair the committee with Commissioner Lynn to work with the community-based organization that addresses these problems. And we can be solution-oriented, and hopefully we can get past the point of making it personal against our director. He's also the veterans. He served in our country and put his life on the line to protect you and I. And to sit here and point fingers and make it mean like it's a his thing, I think is unfair. What's all been said today. But hopefully, where do we go from here is the question. Let's be pragmatic, let's be practitioners, and let's ask how and where do we go from here. The question is, where do we go from here? So hopefully, Madam President, I'll be glad to work with Commissioner Lynn and myself and help Gerald and to facilitate and sit down with all the CPS and BBS and APP and PET and sit down and work with you guys, with our staff and our administration, and let's together craft and create a policy for the 21st century for our animal lovers and our animal community. Because you do have a voice, but I think we need to be a little civil, and let's don't make it personal, because it's not. We all are trying to make life better, quality of life, not only for animals, but for our people. People don't have a home. I hear one lady said an animal got insurance, and we fighting the Affordable Care Act for all people to get insurance. What kind of country we live in? We're more concerned about the people that don't have, human beings that don't have nothing. And we get up and fight and point fingers about, I love animals, but do animals come before people? Ask yourself that. Do they come before children that are out here killing each other with guns and gangs, and children don't have values or sagging of the pants and wearing pajamas in the public? I don't see a public outcry about that. There are 200 animals that need homes up there at the animal shelter. It's not perfect, but we have to get on one accord. And hopefully, Madam, that you would direct that and engage, and all of us sit down at the table. Let's reason together and come up with a policy and an ordinance that would fit the 21st century model for Caddo Parish and Shreveport, Louisiana. And I think if you look at your package, they have engaged in some change. And I want to commend the staff, and I want to commend our parish director of the animal shelter for doing a fantastic job. Nobody in District 3 has showed up down to offer any complaints. I will be supporting him and the administration. Thank you.
Commissioner Bowman.
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. I'll be brief. I'm not here definitely to allow a bashing of our director and at all. But as an animal lover, I do agree with the idea of us coming up with a special committee to address these and see what we can do as a whole with the groups. See how we can make a difference, especially with this Karen situation. That's really no excuse. So we got to do some things as a whole and work with both groups as well as the commission to collaborate and make some, some changes, move in a positive direction with the situation. And I will be willing to co-chair with Matthew Lynn, Commissioner Lynn, or Commissioner Williams to do so.
Thank you. Commissioner Escudé.
Well, I certainly think that we can improve things. But let me just point out a few things. We're not going to solve this problem by getting together and just making some ordinance changes and coming up with a plan. That's, I guess, the first step, but the only way we're going to solve this problem is everybody who's wanting to be involved is going to have to get involved and stay involved, because the problem is not going to go away.
All right.
I almost don't want to argue or be defensive, but I don't care how much education you put out there. People will do dumb things, and there's going to be too many stray animals. It's always going to be a problem. You can't control behavior. If you could, we wouldn't have, young women in their 20s with 13 kids, that kind of stuff. So you can't control behavior. So I have in the past reached out and tried to work on this issue, and to be quite honest with you, backed off real quick, because relatively short period of time it turns personal. It's about individuals, and that's not going to do any good. People come and go, we all live and die, we change, and that will take care of itself. We have to go into this, as they use the term, hit the reset button with a clean slate and a totally open mind, with one mission in our objective. Now, I think we can have a citizens committee work closely with this body to review our ordinances, to change them, make them simpler, cleaner, maybe just do a whole overhaul of that. I will tell you, it's not something done overnight. Don't think that's done quickly, and it's complex. So the second thing we have to determine is there's different organizations represented here, from all over, but we can't have 30-member committee doing this. It doesn't work. Those things don't function. So I don't know how many groups are represented and how many they are, but you're going to have to decide among you which 5 or 6 are going to represent the consensus, because you start getting above a dozen people, you don't get anything done. It's just a fact. And don't send your most passionate people. You got to do both. You got to send somebody that believes in what they're doing, but you got to send somebody in there with a level head, because passion gets nothing done. I have 2 dogs and a cat. Somebody messes with them, and I'll get real passionate about them. Do I share your day-to-day passion for this? I'll honestly tell you no. The young lady who was with the FBI made a good point. People may want to move here because of the reputation we have. I work on a different spectrum. People don't want to move here because of the poor quality of our schools. That's what I hear more than the way we treat our animals and the crime. So I think all of it coming together will improve our community. But I'm also aware of this, and this is where I'll be willing to help, but I entered this cautiously. It's been my experience on things like this, when there's so much emotion involved, that no good deed goes unpunished. And what I want you to understand is, if we start from scratch and start all over, then we collectively look to and speak to our accomplishments, and let go of what's been done in the past, and let go of what steps that we're not there, that we haven't achieved yet, because some of these things are going to be a work in progress. So if we can check the criticism and just do the work, and I'm not naive enough to know, for some of you, and I know you're well intended, but most of you are, but just for a few of you, it'll never be enough. It'll never be enough. But as long as we just look to the progress we make, the improvement we make, the commitment we make, then let's see if the citizens of this community, who I assume are represented by you guys here, are really willing to do what you're willing to do, and that's partner with us to take this shelter and to move it forward, to increase our adoptions, foster opportunities for animals, and that's going to take some honest dialogue. It's going to be coming to the table and identifying. None of you may be responsible. There's some organizations out here under the name of that all they do is cherry pick and cull our best animals and sell them off in Canada. Really, what's your purpose when you do that? I mean, you enterprise, or you really care about the animals? So it's all going to have to come out. Everybody's going to have to be honest, and we'll work for the same purpose, the same ultimate goal. And I think we can get there, but it's going to take time. We're going to have to totally forget about what's happened in the past and move forward. I got the same emails everybody got last week with the Braveheart thing, and 95% of them, I'm not saying, they were based on total ignorance of the law at the time. Simple as that. No way we were going to let that dog, no way we were going to let the dog, languish in there, but there was no way we were going to let this guy responsible get away with it. So we had to have him in our custody, follow the procedures. Now, this may be part of our antiquated state and local ordinances that we need to change. But for the time being, you know, I understand the passion on one side, but our side is, you know, there's no way we're going to let this guy get away with it, you know. So, and I think that's been resolved. But we hear you. We'll work with you. Let's see if you're up to the task. But you have to realize it's going to be a collective effort. We're going to pull it together. And I'm not going to tell you how to vote this weekend, you know, on the capital projects tax renewal we have. But I can tell you one thing. Where do you think that particular money, read that ordinance, it goes to providing improvements to the shelter, to the jail. It goes to take care of all those things that we don't like to talk about, whether it's the prison or the juvenile facility or the animal shelter. It goes to maintain them. So if you want to make it worse, that's fine. Let that go away. We'll scrape up the money somewhere else and have less discretionary income to try to make a commitment to do this. And one last thing I'd like to comment, since we started Robinson's Rescue, and we're the initial seed funder of them, we fund them every year, I would like, Mr. Administrator, you get in touch, I'd like to see some data, because we were supposed to, within 5 years, supposed to be some identifiable signs of progress, and I'd like a report on that to see where we are. How's that working? But anyway, I'm willing to work if you guys are, but, you know, I don't want to make it personal, and I don't want to criticize anything. I want to focus on what we can do right and focus on our accomplishments and let go of the past, because if we don't, nothing's going to get done, and the only things that are going to suffer are the animals in the long run. So, thank you.
Good job.
Commissioner Thibodeau.
We don't want to make it personal, but I don't think we want to ignore the complaints that we've heard, because if you ignore the complaints, then it's going to be difficult to know where the changes that need to be made and be able to address those complaints to make changes. And I guess the biggest thing I see is you've got a room full of people out here that have a lot of ideas. A lot of them are good. A lot of them may not fit in our situation. We have umpteen number of people who are willing to volunteer their time, and if we let that go, we're foolish, very foolish. And if the reason that people don't want to volunteer is because we don't make them welcome, then we have a problem. And that's something that needs to be dealt with. You can't just hide it. I got the same emails as everybody else did. I pretty well ignored those that were outside Caddo Parish, but I can tell you that, and of course I wasn't looking for it, I did not see anything in emails that was sexist or racist. I saw a group of people that were extremely emotional over a problem that had taken place. I don't know that we handled it in the best way that we could have. I was not as familiar with the laws I should have been and it wasn't until I got the information from Ms. Frazier that I understood why we did what we did, or why we had to do like we did. But a lot of times it's not what you do, but how you do it. And so as we form this committee, we're not out to get anybody, but we certainly need to remember what the complaints were. And if you ask people to volunteer means no pay. Volunteer means that you need to be doing something you enjoy to do within an atmosphere where you feel like you're being respected for being there. And if we can't offer that, then we do have a real problem.
Anyone else have any comments? I just wanted to say that I agree with Commissioner Thibodeau in one sense that we don't need to ignore the complaints that have come in, and true enough, we can form a committee and we can work things out and we can hit reset buttons. But when we hit those reset buttons, we need to hit the reset button to take care of everything that has been said here, not just the fact of working on improving the services at the animal shelter, but also when we talk about resetting the button and improving the services, that also means the way the people are being treated. And we heard a lot of that today, a lot of talk. I mostly was hearing the part about the way the people were being treated. It was not as much focuses on what the animals were being treated. It was about how the people were being treated. And to me, that's a very important aspect of Caddo Parish, and it's a form of looking at myself because I am a leader of Caddo Parish. So, as Commissioner Thibodeau said, I think we don't need to ignore the complaints about the way the people being treated and the attitudes. I don't think that's personal because of the fact that when you go into a public place and you think about yourself, put yourself in these people's positions that going into a public place and you get treated in a way that you feel that is hostile or is not even called for because of whatever reason you're going there for, you would feel the same way. And if you had a place to go to voice your opinion about being treated in a bad way, then I'm sure you would take that opportunity. So that's something that we also need to look at, is the complaints that was coming in about the way the people were treated. Commissioner Thibodeau?
Yeah, I just had one more comment to the lady who lost her dog. Dr. Wilson, if she so chooses to go and at some time in the near future to get another dog, if she feels like that's something that she wants to do, I would hope we would allow her to do that at no expense. I think she's already paid enough.
Second. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Next item, Ms. Clark.
Next, we move to visitors. Mr. Lawrence Gidry, Executive Director, Caddo Community Action Agency, here to update on Head Start and other programs. Good afternoon to the President and other commissioners and administrators of the Caddo Parish Commission. As the Executive Director of the Caddo Community Action Agency, my task is to come before you on behalf of the Caddo Community Action Agency and the Office of Head Start in particular. And I want to thank you again for allowing the Caddo Community Action Agency to administer the program on your behalf. We have a total of 1,564 kids enrolled in the program in Head Start, and that's what we're funded for, and we're fully funded. Now, we have 515 on the waiting list, and hopefully that someday we'll get some additional monies to allow them to participate as well. I put before you today a copy of the annual audit. Our annual audit, of course, in the Office of Head Start, in the Head Start program, which is located on page 17, you'll find that we did not exceed our budget, and we ended up in the black. And of course, they allowed us to carry the $217,637 forward. You know, sequestration hit, and of course, we did lose 80 kids. If they don't restore that money, we will lose those 80 kids a year for the next 10 years. Hopefully, they will restore it. Now, the government shut down on October 1st. Everybody's aware of that. However, in our case, in the Office of Head Start, in our case, our budget year begins on February 1st and ends on January 31st. So we are within the safety net until January 31st of being able to draw down the funds and to keep the program going and open. Now, the last thing I want to say, of course, is we have to submit our new budget to the Office of Head Start on November 1st of this year for next year's budget, which will begin on February 1st. And of course, we will submit it with looking at 1,564 kids in the program unless they provide some additional funds. The state of the agency and of course the program is healthy and good. We had our comprehensive federal review and we passed it. And the two areas in which we did have a slight little problem, we were able to settle that on the telephone, which is always encouraging, always good. We didn't have to be revisited by the Office of Head Start. With that said, I would say that the only other item that's in the back of the book that's not a part of the commission that we get directly, and that's a major award in home energy assistance. We had actually $143,448 sent back to us by the utility company. So we had to turn that money and send it back to the funding source. And in the area of weatherization, out of weatherization budget of a little over $3.8 million. We actually had $70,000 left, and they allowed us to do an additional homes for that. So we had no audit findings. We've not had any in my recent memory. And of course, I've been there thanks to you all for allowing me to be there for 20 years. I want to thank you again for allowing us to serve you and to administer this program on your behalf and on the behalf of the citizens of Caddo Parish.
Thank you. Don't move. Commissioner Lynn?
Thank you, Mr. Guidry, for the work that you do with the agency. And also, I want to thank you for the help that you've offered to the constituents of District 4. I've had 2 families that were way below poverty level that had no money and were dealing with sudden death, and was able to go to Mr. Guidry and help them bury their loved ones. And I know that they greatly appreciate your efforts with that, and thank you for all the good work that you do with
And we do that with commission funds. I wanted to say that, I've forgotten that. We do get funds from the commission for burial assistance for those persons who don't have anything to bury themselves. We also get emergency aid money from the commission to help for flood and fire victims. So anytime you have any of those type of activities in your district, I would encourage you to please give me a call. I can be reached at 560-6048. 24/7.
Commissioner, that's all, Commissioner?
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Thibodeau?
Mr. Guidry, how much do you receive per student?
Per student, it averages out to right at $6,000 per child.
All right, and with your fund balance, are you allowed to take in more children? Since if you have a fund balance, can you take in more children using the fund balance money?
They won't allow you to do that because generally you don't have, the best scenario is zero out. Of course, everybody can appreciate that. Sometimes we don't totally zero out, but what we do have is we do have a couple of debts that we have that they allow us to pay on the debt. Now, $217,000 you'd have to have that every year in order to be able to put the children in. They won't let you put them in if you can't show that you're going to have that much left every year, and that's almost unpredictable and impossible to do with costs rising on various different things during the course of the year. So each year we zero it out in this way. We zero it out by allowing us to pay on the debt. To give you an example, at our new facility in Oil City, of course, that was about I think we had about a $900,000 debt on that, and we pay any left over on that. We pay a monthly note, but it's always good to pay it back quicker than they'll allow it just to sit around, because the federal government will allow you to do that. But to get more children, if we could find $500,000 a year at $6,000 per child, we could definitely put more children in. But it needs to be recurring instead of just one time.
Okay, thank you.
So the 515, that's the reason why you can't get those on the waiting list, because of funding?
Funding, that's absolute, and we're not the only, everybody has that situation nationwide. If you all know, Head Start is funded about 45% of the total need. That's nationwide, so we're right at about 45% of our total need. Now, that's 515 that apply. Now, as you know, in Caddo Parish, the last census report that I saw, there were a grand total of 5,906 children living below the poverty level. Of that total, we got 1,500 and something. The Caddo Parish schools may have another 900. There's another 2,500 out there that don't even apply to either place, that is unserved. That's where the problem lies. If we could ever do anything about education, it would be to make sure that every child gets a chance to start at 3 years old and get to a point where that when they get 5 and they go to kindergarten, they've got the crying out of the way. All those things that the kids who are in Head Start and that the daycares are used to doing over a 2-year period before going there, they sit and look at these kids, which half of them has never been in a classroom, and the first 2 weeks is crying. So therefore, they get no attention. The teacher takes all of her time trying to deal with the kids who had no training. In other words, I call it being dumbed down. What we got to do is smart up.
I like that.
What's the cycle on your funding for funeral assistance and
What we do is we,
funeral assistance? I can't think of it.
the person who is the responsible party, it could be the coroner's office, or it could be some family member who don't have anything. What we do is we get them to come to the agency and fill out an application. And it's usually, the person may be buried before the final thing is done. But ultimately, if all I's and all the T's are dotted, then we can pay that funeral home that $500 to help pay that burial.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Dominique?
How much do y'all give on the funerals? At a certain amount, or?
$500.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
$500.
Just wanted to tell you, Mr. Guidry, I appreciate you coming and appreciate your hard work. You always do a good job when you come before this commission and in your presentation. So good luck, and just keep it a surprise and keep working at it. You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Commissioner, I think Dominic kind of summed it up. You take a lot of things for granted because you never know. It's them today and us tomorrow. You never know when you could be up and down and may need these services. And nobody's immune to being up and then being down. Poverty has no race or no face, or no culture or no line. You know, I'm a product of CCA and Head Start. The pineapple juice and graham crackers and peanut butter and a banana. Because you can't learn when you're hungry. And many children go without meals every day in this country because of poverty. And like I said, we need to have a war on poverty and poor in this country. And, you know, I also believe you need to jumpstart with Head Start. You can jumpstart the community with Head Start by providing those basic fundamental things they need at 3 years old. At a certain age, they already know you're headed to prison at a certain age. I don't know if it's for 7 or 4 or whatever, but they have a logistic. Kids don't get the right basic fundamental at a certain age. They headed to jail or somewhere else. So that is a vital component in this country, the Head Start program, giving our children a jump start that they need to a better quality of life. So I can't say enough about the void and the gap that you feel in District 3. We have one of the poorest districts in the parish, and you serve a lot of constituents in that district over the years, even bringing the animal shelter from the Kings Highway. Now we have an Eddie Jones Head Start Center that was once here on Kings Highway and an animal shelter. And I want to commend you on the work that we did together in the past to have a state-of-the-art facility for the people in the Lakeside Allendale community. And we'll always be a friend of the Caddo community. Keep up the good work.
Thank you all so much. And one final comment, let me say, we couldn't do it without the commission. I'll let everybody know we could not do it without you. Thank you for allowing us to do it so much.
Mr. Guidry, how you doing, sir? I heard on the NPR this past week, a lot of Head Start programs across the United States are being impacted by the government closure. Are you experiencing any shortfall on funding because of that?
We're not, there were a total of, I think, 20 programs nationwide that were shut down because their budget year ended on September 30th.
Okay.
And of course, we had overlap, so that's why we were able to stay in business.
Oh, okay.
Now, those who did close down, a family, I want to think the gentleman's name is Mr. Anderson and his wife and a foundation, gave $10 million so those programs could operate through the end of this month.
Wow.
So so that was really, he's a philanthropist, and of course that was real nice of him to do that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Guidry, and I do appreciate all that you do for District 6 as well.
And about the Head Start director and the finance director, because I'm required to do that, folks. I want the record to reflect that they are here and present
Tell them to
and
stand up.
accounted for.
We can't see them.
The finance director is Ms. Collins, and Mr. Bradley is the Head Start director.
Okay. How y'all doing?
Thank you all.
Thank you. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next, we move to reports, administration report.
Yes, Madam President, we have just 2 quick items. We have Mr. Bill Latier with us today, and you got the handout on the proposed use of footways. I know we're on the verge of getting that back shortly, but if there's a recreational use, I thought that it would be worth you all to hear it. So, Mr. Bill, would you come up, please, and kind of give us some directions on what you have in mind?
Good afternoon, y'all.
Please state your name and address for the record.
William Hammeter, 3429 Beverly Place, Shreveport, Louisiana. How y'all doing?
Good.
This kind of started out about 5 years ago. We have an airsoft team, and I don't know if you're familiar with airsoft or not. It's basically paintball. Paintball is described as the sport. Airsoft is described as the experience. But we play down there on a part of the field. We've been down there for 4 years. We started off with 10 guys. Now we have close to 200. And most of the time, in the 2 weekends that we play out of the month, we'll get more people down there just those 2 weekends than in the entire month that the park does. Well, I was approached by Doug, who was approached by his boss, and when they first started talking about the prison. Well, one thing about that is that to airsofters, airsoft right now is about a $12.7 million industry in the United States. Overseas, it's a $1 billion industry, and it's coming this way fast. There is an airsoft game in every city, well, not every city, every weekend in the country. So these kids, what we try to do is we try to get kids out from behind computers. We teach them respect. It's always yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And we try to, we definitely try to keep them in the woods playing. It's a big deal, but the coolest thing about it is there isn't a prison in the United States that anybody can play in. That would be like Wimbledon, the Super Bowl, St. Andrews. I mean, we have one of the largest companies, airsoft companies in the world that has already said we will come and sponsor a tournament, a nationwide tournament. There, we will pick up the nut. We will give away $5,000 in prizes. These guys, right now, they're paying upwards of $150 a head to play in a rock quarry in Texas in the middle of the summer. That's crazy. Right now, everybody here knows what a zombie is, right? Zombies are a multi-billion-dollar business in the United States. Okay, well, your kids do, your grandkids do, whatever. But what I'm saying is that right now, if you look at this book, just to touch on, like, for example, North Louisiana Airsoft War Zone, you have so many people there. We've been doing so much work down there for the past 4 years that almost nobody knows about. We have no fatalities at all, 0. We have travel trailers, we have a mess hall, we have but we have our own pro shop on wheels that actually attend these events, and we cater to them. This is all on our dime. We've built structures out there, everything. So something like that, it's a no-brainer. I mean, there's nothing that has to be done to the prison. It's a prison. You can't break it with a BB. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there's a utility building out there that I guess it was used as a shop, a metal shop. The haunt, which was located on the fairgrounds, generated over a 5-week period 18,000 people on the fairgrounds. Now that's the lowest record that they had. And the reason that was is because it was considered a violent area. There was limited access and limited parking. That building, and I've already talked to Don Webb and Mimi Webb, who are the 2 people that put on the haunt, just walking up to the exterior of the building. It's bigger than what they had. It's a permanent structure. And haunts around the country actually generate money all year round. You have Valentine haunts, you have Christmas haunts, you have just any seasonal deal you want. And it's a no-brainer. It's all on their dime. We have our own generators. We have our own food trucks. This is something, and of course you can go ahead and go through the rest of it, but I was in advertising and marketing for 26 years, and I was the last person to say if you build it, they will come. It's already built. All we have to do is tell people about it. The government training resources in this country are garbage. 85% of the jails in this country are run by sheriffs. The closest registered training center to Louisiana is in Virginia. There are sheriffs in DeSoto Parish. Get online, look on YouTube. In DeSoto Parish,
down even Plaquemines Parish. They go out and rent a house to try to run jail cell catastrophes. They've already contacted us about coming up and just playing airsoft against us so they get some practice. I know that I want to keep y'all excited about this, but I don't want to drag it out either. It was a complete mess when we went over there. The people that had vacated it left it. It was really a mess. But they came out there. The movie industry was the one who came in and cleaned it up. They just got through shooting a scene out there. You know why? Because there isn't another prison in the United States that you can shoot in a jail. Even the one on The Walking Dead, they had to build. Just word of mouth of getting this out from people who play airsoft, who are part of our crew. They're the ones who did the sets for the Washington movie.
Who is he?
Washington Has Fallen, or whatever that was. Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah,
they did the sets. The scouts want to come see this. Think about it. Walking Dead, World War Z, the Dawn of the Dead, all of that kind of stuff. It's money literally laying there waiting to happen. But on top of that, you have like the soccer league that just closed, Cabosa, the indoor. There's another building on that property that could be, with just a minimal amount of money put into it, put a AstroTurf floor in it, and it's right there. They can use it as batting cages. My brother has a couple of different baseball teams. They wait in line to pay $35 a head per child for 12 kids to hit in a batting cage for 30 minutes. All it is a big room with nets hung in it. It's easy.
How much you pay?
$35 an hour. So, but that's per child. Each child gets 15 minutes in the cage. So they're constantly swapping them out. But you also have indoor specialty football camps. And for example, my oldest nephew, who's the second string quarterback of Loyola, they go down to Peyton Manning's football camp, and for 5 days they pay $500, and they limit it to 20 kids. There's nothing like that in North Louisiana, and there should be. There's a way that we can connect with them and say, okay, you take 20, we'll take 20. And instead of my nephew having to drive all the way down there and drive all the way back, he can go right into his own backyard. The Renaissance festivals, rope walks, cross-country walks, we could expand the trails, horse trails immediately to 15 miles. There's roads all through there that were maintained by the prison. The woods are beautiful. There's a Renaissance festival that takes place on the other side of Dallas, makes $18 million a year. $18 million a year. It's in Dallas. And there's one in New Orleans. Now think about this. There are people driving from Dallas through Shreveport to New Orleans to go to that one. How many more people do you think we could get if we had it here? And we've got the people to do it. We've got the volunteers. Even for the government thing, when they bring these people in, my whole team has already said, yeah, we'll be your prisoners. You don't have to pay anybody to do it. We'll come in and do it. We will have a presence there. We already do.
That sounded a little kinky. Did you say about being a
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. Ma'am?
No, yes.
But we have it on tape, though. We have it on tape.
Yeah, it's on tape. But there's also like the juvenile justice programs, the Scared Straight programs. The thing about it is, even if you don't decide to invest any money into it, just sponsoring an airsoft event there, one national event 4 times a year, would generate recognition for this area. It would put airsoft as a forefront runner of a sport in this area. And I mean, like I said, we've only been doing this for a little over 4 years, and we've gone from 11 players to over 200. We're the undefeated team in Louisiana, Texas, and Arkansas, and I'm very proud of my guys. We play together, we work together, we respect each other, and it's respect, honesty, and hard work. That's how we get our team together, and that's how we win it. And I guarantee you, we can do this. This is really a no-brainer. And I'm just kind of throwing this out there to y'all. And, you know, I've got all the numbers and figures that you could possibly ever want for something like this. But even if you just said, okay, you can't use the prison, but you can use this big metal building here that's sitting. We've had one guy come out there who gave us an estimate that there's probably $21,000 worth of raw metal just sitting around there that you could pull out of there, take to the dump, and get cashed in. Right away, you're ahead of the game. Right there, without spending a dime. And then we maintain it. We take care of the buildings. We look inside of it. Because if there's nobody out there, then something's going to happen. And we've already shown that. I mean, it's been sitting vacant for 2 years now, a little over 1 year. And the outside of it was trashed. Air conditioners are missing, there's holes in the walls. If somebody walked in there and got into one of those rooms and slammed that door behind them, that's it, they're dead. Nobody can hear them. They're not breaking out. I guarantee you they're not breaking out. And, you know, I mean, it's right there. The excitement level is there. I started talking about it about 6 months ago on Facebook with my guys, and I have team members all over the country, and they've all said, yeah, we would drive 2,000 miles to do that. We would drive 8 hours to be there. We would drive 15 hours to be there. Because right now, that's what people do. You know, I just hope.
Hey, Bill,
Sure.
kind of wrapping it up for us.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done. But take a look at it. If you have any questions or whatever, I know it's not till 2014.
Commissioner Lynn?
Bill, they got some questions. Hang on.
Thank you, Mr. Hammiter, for coming today. One of the things that we brought up at the last Parks and Recreation meeting, I know that Commissioner Johnson has a facility in North Caddo Parish that he would like to see some development in. I know that Commissioner Smith would love more park-type things to do, activities in the south. Pardon?
Just some.
One, anything in South Caddo Parish. And I know that we're already working. And I know that we're already working with Camaris in regards to the I-49 overlay going to Arkansas. And Dr. Wilson, if you will, the next time that they're in town, could you schedule them so that I can have a Parks and Recreation meeting and invite Mr. Hammiter, and then also we could look at possibly how much it costs to get something started and how much it costs to maintain this every year. And I know that Commissioner Epperson wants a zoo, and he's got something that he was pushing for that. To look at this to see what Caddo Parish can offer, not only for the citizens, but to offer to the, you know, Dallas, New Orleans, or whoever would come here for tourism, and is it affordable, and will we make money on it, or will we be paying, you know, $100,000 a year to insure something that nobody really wants to use, and to verify that what Mr. Hammiter is saying is true as far as this use, but then also check for use on facilities maybe on the north side of the parish, and of course in Commissioner Lynch's district, since they can't drive north or south. Thank you. That's all, Madam President.
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I too want to echo what Commissioner Lynn had said. I don't know what's going on with me and him. We kind of agree a lot on some things. I don't know what's going on with us. But yeah, I think the director, Henri, has brought this before us, and I think if he supports it and his staff, I'm going to support it, because I don't want to micromanage his decision. If he feels it's something good and worthwhile, not only for downtown street, but uptown, Caddo needs some investment and some excitement as well. North and the south have a project. You need some in north. We need some everywhere where people can come enjoy our nature, enjoy our communities, north and south. But also we need to make wise investment into projects, a worthwhile wise investment where we can see a return on an investment, like Mike Thibodeau say all the time. We got to make sure we get an investment, get wise investments, and I feel this is a worthwhile investment thus far. At least you wouldn't even brought it before us if it was not some good to benefit the entire community. And one side don't fit all. We have diversity. We need to have diversity and have excitement, enthusiasm about doing business in Caddo Parish and in Shreveport. And these are some of the things we need to be creative about.
be creative and innovative by bringing new things and not doing the same old thing and get the same old results. People want to do more than just gamble and drink alcohol and beer and those things. They want to do other things besides. Speak for yourself.
One thing I did want to say, just to make it real clear, is that when it becomes the parish's responsibility, they're going to have to maintain it. By using airsoft to your advantage, to keep an eye on it, basically, you don't have to turn on the electricity.
Well, let me just finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why we go look and see if it's cost effective.
I got you.
For us to be involved. That's why we go refer it to the committee and have our input from the director and the staff to give us the documentation we need to make intelligent decisions about
anything I can do to help.
Future of this project. So I'm excited that at least we're coming up with some innovative idea to do something in Caddo instead of doing nothing and complaining and pointing fingers and people having nowhere to go and white flight moving out, people moving out. We got to have people reading to stay here, and we need a zoo. We need a zoo a long time ago. So I'm excited and look forward to working with you and working with the administration. Thank you for coming. What about concessions? Do we have a concession stand there?
Oh yeah, we have everything portable.
Oh, everything will be portable. It will be contracted out, or you have your own?
No, we have our own.
Oh, okay.
We have our own mess hall. We have our own sleeping facilities, our own generators.
That's the part we might have to consider negotiating. All right.
Commissioner Lynch.
There's not any water around here.
Front the buddy.
Any water, like a lake or something?
No, ma'am, but there is drinkable water. It's all well.
I'm trying to put the dog park out there. I'm just trying to.
Oh, but no, I mean, there's areas for that. We've already discussed that too.
Yeah, we gotta have around water to get.
There are kennels there.
I like, I don't understand any of these sports in here, but I just see a bunch of men, so I'm really interested.
Breast cancer awareness walk. Archery.
I am really interested in all of this. The part that I like about it is it's something different.
Yes, ma'am.
And, you know, it seems like, anyway, and we'll have to get some more information, but it's something that puts our area on the map.
Without a doubt.
You like. And it seems like it's a lot of versatility in here as to what you can actually do out there. But I also want to make sure we're looking at the traffic situation. Traffic.
Oh, I understand, yes, down Colquitt.
And the access, you know, that we have coming in and out of there.
We can regulate it.
As well as if we're talking about having kids from, you know, within the city be able to access the facility.
Yes, ma'am.
That we, you know, factor in transportation to be able to, you know.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
So I just need to get a kind of a better of a master plan of what you all are talking about. What will it actually look like, and all of the different pieces, and then the income, you know, revenue projections, the expense projections. And I get nervous when people say something is not a no-brainer.
Well, I mean, I've been drilling this thing on the internet for several months now, and I mean, now granted, if we went with the sports complex idea and community center, there would have to be some different improvements made, some concessions made. I realize that, but as far as just having an immediate income source, using it as the haunt requires no money at all. They provide their own insurance, they provide their own crowd, they provide money back to the community, and they provide something that this community doesn't have right now.
Okay, now would we be taking some revenue away from the fairgrounds?
No, ma'am, they're the ones who kicked them out because they said that 18,000 people wasn't quite enough to satisfy them.
Oh, okay, okay, because I want to make sure.
Yeah, they've had as many as 24,000 people in 5 weeks. And you have to drive by the prison to get to this building. And if we're holding a zombie game in the prison at that time, it only adds to it.
I got you.
And we, like I said, I'm being very honest about this. We're out in the, it's basically we're out in the middle of the woods.
But do we have camping facilities out there? Is it camping out there?
Campgrounds.
ability to develop. We do have a few sites there, a few campsites, but they're not developed yet.
All righty, thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Dominique.
Call for the question.
Oh,
Hey, I got a quick question. I went to the restroom. So who are you with? Are you with this airsoft organization?
I'm the founder of In-Law, yes I am.
Okay, and you're talking about your group taking this and doing all this stuff? Is that what you're kind of talking about or not?
Well, we're talking about doing as much as y'all want us to do.
Okay.
Right now,
I caught the first 5 minutes.
Oh, yes, sir,
We're
I
in a hurry,
understand.
okay, so I got to go. I'm going to be like Commissioner Escaday. So you're talking about your group taking this whole thing right now? Is that what you're talking about, doing this or what?
well, as far as the airsoft end of it, yes. If we had a national event there 4 times a year, we could generate over 700 to
What about
8.
the other stuff, all this other stuff that's listed
Well,
here?
see, the other stuff would be completely up to y'all as far as deciding if we want to do that.
Is there a
If y'all
baseball
want to do
diamond
that, that's
there?
when y'all get the.
Is there a
that's
baseball
when-
diamond there?
Yes, sir, and a backstop.
Okay.
Yes, sir. What we have here, we brought this young man in because he's very enthusiastic. Because let you know what could be done without just us coming with ideas.
Okay.
This is a volunteer that's going to work with us to do everything. Will be
Volunteer.
under Parks and Recreation Department.
Volunteer, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all I got.
Attorney Frazier. I'll withdraw mine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just one last thing, Commissioners, we'll let you know that we are partnering with Ms. Laura Lorenz to come here from ASPCA. I met her a few years ago, and she's going to come back and share with the staff, and we're going to have a little luncheon for her down at the Animal Services area to talk about, let her talk to us about some initiatives perhaps we can kind of glean from, and just go from there. But she'll be coming here on the 30th, on the 24th of October, so we'll be meeting with her as well.
That's it.
That's the
That's
president.
in
What is that
Southfield,
for?
right?
This is Ms. Laura Lorenz. That her name was mentioned earlier in the presentations that were made before you. And we are going to invite her to a luncheon at the animal shelter on the 24th.
You serving kibbles and bits?
Yes. And gravy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. Look at Dr. Wilson got a joke back. I was like,
on your
"Kibbles and
administrative
bits."
report?
That was
When
good.
did you do that?
Pardon me?
That's not on your administrative report.
No, it was, since it was talked about in this forum, I thought I'd just reiterate the importance of what was said here today.
So you wasn't gonna tell us if that hadn't been talked about. That's just
Item 2, please, is what she's trying to say.
Exactly.
Who's my
Item
report,
2,
man?
please.
Oh, you didn't do item 2? You got another item up there?
The open enrollment is just something we want to let you all know is being started, so I understand most of you all don't participate in this, but a lot of the employees do, so that will be forthcoming at this present time. From 7
Is
to
this
the
for
23rd.
health?
Yes, ma'am. For supplemental like dental,
Aflac, stuff like health will be in November.
Have we looked at, we've chosen a health insurance company or what? I thought we were looking for one, somebody.
ma'am, we'll be migrating to Blue Cross and Blue Shield first of the year.
We're gonna change, you saying?
We have to change. Because the company we're currently with now is changing to Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
That's just a TPA.
Right.
Reminder, we're self-insured, so we don't have an insurance company per se. Our TPA is going out of business per se, and we're going to the Blue Cross National Alliance. For 2015, we will be accepting proposals for all fully insured TPA, the gamut.
So even on the Blue Cross, we're gonna still be self-insured?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
They're the third-party administrator.
That's right.
Did we take bids for that?
That's what I've been wondering. I thought we were supposed to be getting bids.
Did we get bids for that?
We do get bids for TPA, but we do that every 3 years.
Every 3 years. You know, there's a couple of local companies that do that.
We have tried to go, the problem with some of the local, and we have gone local before, is the discounts, whether or not they can provide you a national plan such as a Blue Cross or United Healthcare, or will it be a plan that they, the last time we went with, we switched TPAs, we could not get the level of discounts by having, but that's,
Discounts on procedures at doctor's offices?
Yeah, the negotiated discount from your plan provider such as a
Basically, United Health and Blue Cross have everybody in the country held hostage.
Right.
You ought to take that cross off of the blue. There ain't nothing Christian about that.
So we're gonna be self-insured until, we cannot get out of self-insured till 2015.
Yes, that's right. We tried it, ma'am. We came close when we went to the Police Jury Association, and we had one unfavorable diagnosis that occurred within 2 weeks, and they withdraw their discussion with us for going fully insured. But once you're designated as a sick plan, most fully insured providers don't want to take that on. But we did shop it, yes, for that purpose only.
And just for, Blue Cross is Blue Cross Blue Shield is a Louisiana company. I just want to say that.
Well, I'm familiar with
They're not Shreveport.
Blue Shield of Louisiana, but
They
I'm
do
not
have
familiar with
offices in
it when you're
Shreveport.
self-insured.
Yeah, they're the Louisiana
Yeah.
monopoly, the extortionist, whatever you
You
want to
have to
call
have a
it.
plan administrator when you're self-insured.
Man, can we move on?
More discussion to come on that. in the future.
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have a question for the administration. You know, I discussed with you in your office recently regarding the bid process. And I'm of the impression that we have a bid sync program that we're using. And I do believe that we're supposed to be following state bid law and federal bid law.
We do.
But bid sync is not part of the law. It's not an open system. And as I appreciated from calls from people that want to do business with the parish, they have to pay to play. They have to pay to get online to bid on projects for the parish. But I would like for the administration to get an attorney general opinion. Is it legal and constitutional to have the bid sync collect money for people that want to do business with the parish? And also, where's the money going that bid sync gets from the people that signs up? Okay?
Commissioner Williams, what it is that now the bids have to be electronic, and we were using BidSync, and BidSync charged a fee, but we are switching companies, and that company will not be charging a fee to use their service. The parish did not charge the fee. It was the company we were using in order to get the electronic bid.
So when will this take effect?
We are preparing the contract now. I'll get with Valerie to provide you more information on Thursday. Ms. Gunn?
And also, I want to know the status on we wrote a policy sort of similar to the Fair Share program, which I was very instrumental in writing the Economic Inclusion Initiative. Play on words, MBE, MBA, or Small Emerging Business. Whatever you want to call it. The thing is that we want to be a little more inclusive in how we do business here with disadvantaged business. We just play on acronyms. However, I feel we haven't got to that point in 20 years or 15 years. We need to see how we can increase that percentages. We had a goal of 25%. Hopefully we can get past the point of 25 to maybe 35. There's a couple of programs I want you to look at, because what I'm more worried about is compliance. How do you have a program if the program we can't, checks and balance, we can't keep compliance on it? New Orleans has a program, and Atlanta, that deals with the minority fair share program. So I would like for you to explore those programs, but they have a strong compliance component. And I want to, in the future, go be drafting the ordinance to address that in the future after the information I received from you guys. So, bid sync is something that I don't like. I'm glad to see you going in another directions. And I know we have open bid law, and we should not be able to. People ought to have the opportunity to do business with the parish without having to pay a dime. And when the people in the department write the specs up, when the public director of the work or whoever writes up the specs for the project, it should be open to the public, where people can feel free and do business here, and maybe need to upgrade our website as well, where we can have a due process. So I hope that we get this information to me. I'm going to be serious investigating myself, doing my own research, because I think we need to do a better job than what we're doing.
Commissioner Lynn, thank you.
When can we come in to get a bid on our insurance to see if it's cheaper than the mandated affordable health care that's not affordable?
That's a good question. The commissioner.
We will be having open enrollment in November to give you the rates that it costs.
All right, thank you. That's all, Madam President.
Okay, next item, Mr. Clerk.
Let's move to communications committee reports.
Just want to remind you all that tomorrow, Precinct 38 will be having a community meeting, and our administrator will be the opening speaker on the bond issue, so tomorrow.
I want to be open speaker.
Where you speaking at?
At the Hollywood Library on Hollywood Avenue.
Well, don't be speaking on chamber.
Wednesday, right? At 6?
That was tomorrow at 5. Tomorrow at 5.
Tomorrow at 5, okay.
And when does it begin? It's
5 o'clock.
at 5 o'clock.
And also be reminded that the Economic Development Summit is in the morning from 9 to 2 at the Intertech 1 building.
That's what I was
on
getting
Kings
confused
Highway.
with.
What time?
9 till 2.
And the location again, Madam President?
Intertech 1 on the Kings Highway and Mansfield Road. 2031.
Blade Studio, Moonbot.
Yeah, Moonpot.
See now, he knows how to break it down.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Escaday?
I just want to let everyone know that we had our Shreveport Common monthly meeting last month, and they're currently putting out the RFPs for the design work on the park. And at the meeting, the SRAC people complimented Ms. Gunn on the assistance and knowledge that she had brought to them and helping them through that process. So just wanted to pass that public comment along. Thank you.
Anyone else? Next item.
And no President's report. We'll move to old business. There's no old business. Move to new business. Authorized introduction of ordinance number 5346 of 2013, amending the budgets of estimate revenues and expenditures for capital outlay fund, railroad fund, building maintenance fund, and capital improvement fund to terminate completed or lapsed capital projects for the year 2013.
Move third.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Williams. Is there any discussion? None, please vote. It's
Surgery Friday.
Well, it's past Friday.
You get a call or something.
He'll be here Thursday.
That passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Authorized resolution number 63 of 2013, authorizing Caddo Parish Administrator to execute on behalf and in the name of the Parish of Caddo a contract for Louisiana Community Development Block Grant Administrative Services.
Moved by Commissioner
Thursday.
Williams, second by Commissioner
Second.
Baker. Is there any discussion?
Yes,
Commissioner Lynch?
Was this a bid process that they got this? Was this a bid process?
Yes, ma'am, we only received one bid.
What happened to it?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Please vote. That passes.
Authorized resolution number 64 of 2013, authorizing Caddo Parish Administration to execute on behalf and in the name of the Parish of Caddo a contract for LCDBG Block Grant Engineering Services with Cawthorn Graff at Smoke and Engineering.
So moved.
Moved by
Question, me too,
Commissioner
right?
Escaday, second by Commissioner
I'm sorry, this
Smith.
is the one I was
Is
really
there
looking
any
at.
discussion?
Is this the one you're saying there's only one bid came in on the
No, for
engineering
the,
service?
no ma'am, for the administrative consultant, we
Yeah, I
only
know.
have.
I was
That
on
was,
the-
no, for this one, we had 3, and they were scored in each
Who
one.
were they? Do you know?
Cawthorn, Baylor, KSA Alliance.
Okay, thank you.
Madam President, I need the motion and second again, please.
Escaday, Smith.
Okay.
Commissioner
you.
Bowman,
Oh, no, I thought it was a second.
please vote.
I'm always late.
That passes.
Authorized resolution number 65 of 2013, authorizing Caddo Parish Administrator to execute on behalf in the name of Caddo Parish contract with LDCBG Grant Services for KSA Alliance.
So moved. Thursday.
Thought you just did that.
Second. It's a different one.
Oh, moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Escaday. Is there any discussion? Please
I
vote.
have.
Oh, Commissioner Williams.
Is it the same company got both different projects?
No, different company.
What's the resolution on?
Which one was that?
This was 65.
Okay.
Well, you said 65, you said
sure did
KSA
earlier.
the first,
You said the same
64.
thing. You said the same thing earlier.
Yeah.
I'm confused. You said KSA.
That's
what
what
you
I
meant.
You meant 60.
I got it.
But that's what, yeah.
So this,
65 is KSA Alliance, 64 was Cawthorn Graff.
you said KSA then. Okay, please vote.
Man, we need some brain food around here. What is wrong with
I eat my greens. Next item, please.
Authorize resolution number 66 of 2013 installing both advanced warning signs and pavement markings at the Union Pacific Railroad crossings, Keithville Spring Ridge Road, Williams Road, Boardman Road, and Preston Road in Caddo Parish.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Smith.
William Road, that would be a good road to
Second by
ride.
Commissioner Bowman. Is there any discussion?
Y'all vote on my road, William Road.
It's a gravel road, Mike.
Next item, please vote.
I won't ride over and see what
It's
it
a
feels
gravel
like.
road.
That was a dirt trail.
Next item.
Authorize resolution number 67, 2013, adopting October as Housing American Month for the year 2013.
No move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Lynn. What's Housing America Month? What are they talking about? What
Public housing,
Oh.
this month.
Oh,
Don't get beat up by the breast people, because it's their month. They don't share with nobody.
is there any discussion? If none, please vote.
I'm not gonna make them mad.
That passes. Next item.
Authorize a resolution of remembrance for Mr. James Kojo Livingston, local activist, community leader.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bowman, second by Commissioner Williams. Is there any discussion? If none, please vote.
People's son died.
Oh, you're not gonna read?
Yeah, he was, he right.
Okay.
You gonna put the dog committee?
Next, we have consent agenda.
Move to adjourn.
Watch them dogs.
I know that's right. John, that's the thing, that's just the sign.
Yes.
Thank you, buddy. I eat my greens.
You gonna be there? Yeah. That speaker's loud.
One of the presidents.
Oh, well, hey. Yeah, really.